Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my experiences with visiting Florida and the key differences between the state where I live, which is New Jersey, and the Sunshine State. So let's get started. First thing, the pace of life. So New Jersey is super fast paced. Here people have things to do, like when people get up, people here have, they're always in some kind of rush. They have to go to work, they have to do their businesses. And I'm not saying they don't do businesses or go to work in Florida, but there's a rushed kind of feeling up here in the north, where people don't want to waste time. They feel like being productive involves doing things, in a heightened sense of speed. Even the walking is fast. Don't you dare stop in the middle of, the walkway and block someone, because you're going to hear a mouthful. So things are different. In Florida, things slow down, you guys. When we landed in Orlando, I was surprised that I had to wait for my bag, like the entire flight and other flights had to wait for bags for an hour. Like, that's how slow things are over there. I don't think it has to do with technical difficulties or stuff like that. I just feel like people have a relaxed way of life where they feel like there's no rush to do anything. Like, you will get your bag when you get your bag and it'll be just fine. Same thing with the ride shares, you guys. You know how you order, you go to the app, you order a ride and it says 2 minutes away. In Florida, 2 minutes away is 10 minutes away. So if you're visiting, I suggest that you adjust your time zones. I know we're in the same zone, but literally you have to change like your expectations, because you will be surprised. Like I said, people in the Northeast talk fast, they walk fast. Yeah. Also, the other thing that I noticed that it was very interesting was how, people in the Northeast have this guard up. Like, you can't just come up to someone just like that. Like, you have to have a good reason to approach someone in the Northeast, whether it's, asking for directions, just asking someone something. Like, there's this front, and you won't know it until you go to, like Florida. That's where when I came back, I was like, oh my goodness, why are people in New Jersey so, they have this thing. I don't know whether it's their guard up or what it is, but you can't just approach someone as you would in Florida, where, I found people to be more friendly. People are more welcoming. Like, they have, like, people greet you and they're like, welcome, how can I help you? Like, it's not like up here where you can feel like the greeting is part of the policy of the establishment. There you can feel that people actually mean it. Like, this is something that they want to do. They really value people to people relations or relationships. Okay, my next point with the difference between New Jersey and Florida is obviously the weather, my favorite topic. So in New Jersey, I can say that most people, if not everyone, plans their life around the weather. Whether it's snowstorms, blizzards, heat waves, like, people are very much into how the weather is going to be, not just for the day, but for the next few days. And that's a big deal up here in the Northeast. People know that, oh, we're going to. Another thing is, people, because of the weather and the patterns, people like planning things here. Like, it's a big deal to plan things here because of the weather. Like, there will be rain checks, canceling because of the weather. Um, I don't think it's like that in Florida. I feel like when I was at Disney, when we arrived, it was raining the day before, we went to Disney. And thank God the entire time that we visited the parks, it was hot like crazy. So that was a good thing for me. But when we arrived, it was raining so much. I thought that the festivities would be canceled. It was July 4th, and I thought they wouldn't even have fireworks in the rain, and they did. That just shocked me. Here in the Northeast, they cancel. For showers, they cancel, and they're like, too bad, it's raining. So yeah. And also, Florida is so hot, especially in the summer. Their summers are not even normal. I think it's like 150 degrees there. You guys, I was at, what is this Disney theme park called? Epcot. And Epcot is not like Magic Kingdom, which is a bit more compact. This is a very largely spaced out theme park, and I wanted to explore the entire place. You guys, it was so hot. So hot. I don't think I've ever experienced such heat in my life. Yeah, and in April, obviously, it's going to be hot, but not like in the summers. Like in April, Florida is like 80, 85. In summer, it's just incredibly hot. So, I found that to be, very interesting, and also how people go about their lives. Even if it's going to rain, even if there's going to be a rain shower, it doesn't change anything. Yeah, meanwhile here, 2 inches of snow and school is cancelled. So yeah, that's another thing. The other thing that I found super interesting was, the transportation system. So up here in the north, you can be sure you can get to whichever place you're going, because all modes of transport are there. People take the subway, people take trains, people take buses. Ride shares are everywhere. In Orlando, I feel like you have to have a car no matter what, because the the way the place is built, they're not walkable, and there is no like defining transportation system. Like I don't remember seeing buses. So I feel like the people who have to go to work maybe have to take Uber, because I didn't see any buses. In Miami, I did see a couple, but not a lot. So there's like a very urgent need to have a car down there. And yeah, that's one of the other things that I noticed. Disney has its own transportation system, but when you're done with the theme parks, you have to, the only other option are ride share apps. So if you're going to be going to Florida, this is going to be a huge part of the budget. If you're going from theme park to theme park, if you're going back to the hotel, this is something you're going to have to consider in your budget, because, and also it's going to change, the pricing is going to change based on the people. So if 1,000 people leave the theme park and you're trying to get a ride, like a ride to your hotel, good luck, because whatever price they tell you, that's what you'll pay. And finally, you guys, the food culture. So up here, you can find anything: Ethiopian food, Greek food, Mexican. Like here, you'll find everything. Down there, I felt like in Orlando, it's almost like here in terms of restaurant choices. I guess because of proximity to the theme parks and SeaWorld and Disney and all these places, which have a lot of tourists. In Miami, there are a lot of tourists also, but there's a very established Spanish culture in the city. So there's going to be a lot of Cuban food. Mexican food. Um, yeah, it's going to be very interesting. There's going to be even the music, the flair, the lifestyle, the language. It's so rich with culture, and it's just a very interesting thing where you can feel like it's an international town, but at the same time it's full of culture, and it's almost as if you have to, like, nobody's telling you this, obviously. People do speak English in Miami, but it's almost like you're supposed to speak Spanish when you're there. Nobody tells you this, but it just feels that way because it is so ingrained in the culture that you feel like to be a part of it, you have to speak the language. Yeah, so those are my experiences, you guys. Oh, how could I forget the other thing? Miami is so expensive, you guys. Especially around Brickell, and yeah, very, very expensive. I remember a rideshare driver who told me that he moved from New York to Miami, and he was just on the verge of going back up because he couldn't afford it. It was so expensive. Basically, he was saying that Miami is mostly for the visitors and people who work there. The other people are very wealthy people who own the buildings, and they're just living their best lives. Up here, it is expensive in New York, obviously New Jersey, but there's some kind of balance as opposed to there where it's very, very expensive in Miami, you guys. I remember staying at Citizen M, and the room was so tiny. And remember, you guys, when you're over there, you are going to be obviously outside most of the time, so it's not like you're going to be in the room, and still you'll feel the effect in the pricing. So yeah, I thought I would just share my experience with you guys. Let me know what you think. Bye.